Live from London, this is BBC News. At least 32 people have been killed in deadly flash flooding in central Texas. 14 children were among the victims. A desperate search continues for dozens of missing people.
We will be relentless in going after and ensuring that we locate every single person.
Mourners attend the funeral of Liverpool footballer Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva in their hometown in Portugal. The brothers died in a car crash on Thursday. Reports from Israel suggest the government will send a delegation to Qatar for the Gaza ceasefire talks as part of renewed international efforts to end the war and secure the release of the remaining hostages. Hello and welcome, I'm Laxmi Gopal. We start in the US state of Texas, where authorities say 32 people, including 14 children, have died after torrential rain led to flash flooding. The Guadalupe River rose 8 meters in just 45 minutes, sweeping through campsites that were busy for the 4th of July holiday. 27 children are missing from an all-girls summer camp. Vice President J.D. Vance has described the situation as an incomprehensible tragedy. A short while ago, the authorities gave an update on the latest and the recovery efforts that are underway. Here's the Texas Governor, Greg Abbott.
We will be relentless in going after and ensuring that we locate every single person who's been a victim of this flooding event. We're not going to stop today or tomorrow. We will stop when the job is completed. Between now and whenever that day arrives when the job is completed, this is a 24/7 operation, day and night, because we know that we are looking for Texans and Americans, and we put them as our top priority, and we will find every one of them. Additionally, I want to let you know that overnight, there was an increase in storm damage and rainfall and flooding in other regions of the state of Texas that were in addition to the ones that were in the disaster declaration that I made yesterday.
Know that President Trump is absolutely heartbroken by what has happened here in Texas, and the loss of life is absolutely devastating to him and Melania. This morning I talked with him several times, and he wanted to make sure that all of you know how much he loves Texas, how much he's grieving for your families that have lost someone and the beautiful children that we're still looking for and hoping to return to their families, and that he is absolutely committed to using all the resources of the federal government to help unify families, rescue all those that were still missing, and return those who maybe we will recover back to their families as soon as possible, and that we will be here walking alongside each other and helping throughout this entire crisis.
Where we are right now in terms of what we've done to be able to protect people, move them, get them out of the camps, and the heroic efforts of people that worked in those camps, directors of the camps, people who owned the camps, who not just risked their lives, gave their lives to try to go save the lives of those kids. That's who they are as Texans, and I'm so proud of that, and I'm so proud of the work that everyone's done to do that, and now we just got to finish the job and be with the people, and importantly, pray for the families who have lost their loved ones.
I got to see firsthand many of the body bags, and it breaks my heart. And coming back from that, we had a opportunity to go on a helicopter ride with the senator and the mayor and inspect the devastation. We flew all the way up the South Fork, all the way to Criders. And you can see what's happened, and it's going to be a long time before we're ever going to be able to clean it up, much less rebuild it. But there's nothing on the other side of Criders. It's just hill country. And we didn't know. We know we get rains. We know the river rises. But nobody saw this coming. And what I really have to report to you is it was a godsend to be able to get out of the helicopter, walk back into this building, and sit down with these people and cooperate, arm in arm, hand in hand, to do the best we can to work the process.
That update from state and local officials at a press conference which took place just a few minutes ago. Well, let's get more now. This report from our senior North America correspondent Gary O'Donoghue from Kerrville.
The torrential rain early Friday morning took everyone by surprise. In some places, between 12 and 15 inches fell in a matter of a couple of hours, as the Guadalupe River rose by 26 feet in 45 minutes, its second highest level on record. Among the terrible devastation wrought by the floodwaters, a glimmer of good news. These people among the hundreds who've been rescued. But for many families, the anxious wait continues, gathered at centres around the town of Kerrville, hoping for news of those still missing. Much of the focus is on a camp for young Christian girls close to the Guadalupe River. 750 children were staying here. At least 24 girls are still missing. State and federal officials, including the Secretary for Homeland Security, have said nothing will be spared to find those still missing.
Is making sure we're finding people as fast as possible and we're returning them to their families.
You can see this house has been completely washed away by the water. Just the foundations left where I'm standing. And over here, beyond this blue-green house, through the trees is the red roof that was on this house. And we've just spoken to some relatives of people who lived in this house, who were here. And they told us that of the 5 people that were here when the water came, 2 are unaccounted for, including a young toddler.
You gotta keep hope, I guess, that I couldn't believe that they're gone unless, someone actually told me, I would have hope that they're still out there somewhere.
As we were speaking to Jonathan and Brittany, relatives of those who'd been in this house, a neighbour dashed up. She'd found the piggy bank, or money jar, for one of the boys who'd been in the house and had survived. This will be a long and painstaking recovery operation, with the local authorities unable to say just how many visitors there were in the area at the time because of the 4th of July holiday weekend. A normally joyous moment for this country, marking its independence, marred by tragedy. Gary O'Donoghue, BBC News, Kerrville, Texas.
And you can follow updates on the BBC Live page as well on the website, and we'll of course bring you any developments on that as we get them. But now to some other developing news that's come through in the past couple of hours. Elon Musk has announced the formation of a new political party in the United States. Writing on his social media platform X, Mr. Musk said the American party would challenge what he called a one-party system that wasted public money and undermined democracy. The billionaire businessman spent hundreds of millions of dollars on Donald Trump's election campaign, but the pair have fallen out recently. They've had a bitter public dispute about the president's spending plans. Well, let's speak now to Arunade Mukherjee, who is in Washington for us. Arunade, how seriously should we take this? Because Elon Musk is known to have posted various things on social media, not all necessarily in earnest.
Well, it is a hard one to really analyse and see how this proceeds in the next couple of days or weeks, what kind of reactions we get. We are still waiting to hear any major political reactions or even a reaction from Donald Trump. We haven't heard anything yet. Mr. Musk himself hasn't really given too many details about what this party is going to be all about, any kind of further details. So all of that is still elusive. Just the announcement that he is going to be forming a political party. What's interesting is that he put out this poll on the 4th of July, America's independence, and his followers responded to that. 65% voted yes to a new political party, and there were about 1,200,000 respondents to that poll. So that's just the figures there. But the background to all of this, of course, Mr. Musk had threatened to form a new political party earlier on as well, saying that if the big beautiful bill does pass, then this is what he is going to do. He has expressed his very public displeasure over the big beautiful bill. well repeatedly on social media and otherwise as well, and saying that a party which had come to power promising that they would be spending less and cutting down on spending was doing exactly the opposite by way of that big beautiful bill. We saw the kind of insults that were traded between Elon Musk as well as Donald Trump. So this is a result of all of that. But again, as I said, it's going to be very hard to predict what exactly this means, whether this translates onto something big. But at the bottom of it all, he is the richest man in the world. He is someone who was the biggest donor to Donald Trump's political campaign. So, there is a degree of seriousness with which this would also be looked at.
And what sort of appetite do you think there would be among Americans for this? Because it's all very well the poll on his social media post, but of course social media users, it's not always clear where they're from, and a lot of them may well be bots. So what do you think the appetite is among actual American citizens for this?
I think that's exactly the point, really, because it's just a poll on social media to his followers. Beyond this, we don't know whether this actually is going to see light of day, what it exactly means. Even the number of respondents were 1,200,000. Now, given the larger scheme of things, talking about a political party for the US, that's not much. In terms of an appetite, well, I think this is more of optics. This is more of just kind of messaging, just kind of posturing, something that he just wants to, create a little bit of atmosphere here on social media just to get feelers and reactions. That's the way we've seen Elon Musk function a lot of the times. These kind of statements have come in the past as well, as you pointed out. So, I think it's just about the optics at the moment, but I think the kind of reactions that follow after this, or what he says after this, whether this actually, there is any kind of a concrete step taken beyond this, is I think what we need to look out for. And I think at the moment that we haven't seen yet.
Well, we shall see in coming days and weeks. Arunadhay Mukherjee, thank you. Liverpool players and staff have joined family and friends of Diogo Jota and his brother André Silva at a funeral service in Portugal. Hundreds of people lined the streets in the brothers' hometown of Gondomar to bid an emotional farewell. The brothers were killed in a car crash in the early hours of Thursday. Our correspondent Guy Hedgecoe reports.
The town of Gondomar says farewell to Diogo Jota and his brother André Silva. This was where the two brothers grew up and learned to play football. The nearby academy where Diogo Jota played now bears his name. For locals, he was a football icon, but also someone who was deeply loved as a person. Outside the church, hundreds of people gathered, some having travelled from other parts of Portugal. Many wore shirts of the teams Jota played for.
I watch all these players from kids growing up, playing in small teams, making it to the big games. So he's one of them that made it, and him and his brother deserve all the respect in the world.
He was someone who represented a lot for here, for Gondomar, for Portugal, of course, for being that huge man, not only a player, of course, and an example for everyone.
The funeral was a private affair at the request of the family, but there were many familiar faces attending. Members of the Portuguese national football team were present. So too were many of Jota's Liverpool teammates, including club captain Virgil van Dijk and defender Andy Robertson. Back in his adopted city of Liverpool, emotional tributes have been paid to a striker who fans adored. Jota was driving back to Liverpool for pre-season training with his brother when the car they were travelling in veered off the road in northwestern Spain, apparently after suffering a tyre blowout, killing them both. Jota had achieved professional glory and personal happiness. With Liverpool, he won last season's Premier League, and with Portugal, the Nations League. And just 2 weeks ago, he married his girlfriend, Ruta, with who he had 3 small children. Those gathered outside the church were able to follow the service, which was relayed via public address.
These deaths are a tragedy for this town, which has lost 2 brothers who were deeply loved and cherished. But it's also a tragedy for Portugal, which in Diogo Jota has lost someone who is seen as an ambassador for the country's football.
This has been a devastating few days for a country which is still coming to terms with 2 lives being cut short in their prime. Guy Hedgecoe, BBC News, Northern Portugal.
Israeli media reports say Israel has decided to send a delegation to Qatar for proximity talks with Hamas on the latest Gaza ceasefire proposal. An Israeli official is quoted as saying there is something to work with, as Hamas is said to have eased its demands due to pressure from mediators. It's still saying that any ceasefire must lead to a permanent end to the Gaza war, but it doesn't seem to be demanding this as a precondition. In Gaza itself, the Health Ministry says Israeli strikes have killed dozens of people in 24 hours. Our Middle East regional editor Sebastian Usher is in Jerusalem and explained Hamas's demands in the negotiations.
The changes are quite similar to what Hamas has said before in previous moments when it looked like a ceasefire deal might be about to take place. To the fact that Hamas wants promise that any ceasefire will lead to a permanent end to the war in Gaza. Up to now, they've essentially been saying that that needs to be a precondition of entering a ceasefire, of entering talks. This modified proposal looks like that might get past that obstacle to a degree, that as was originally actually the idea in the 3-phase deal that was presented earlier this year, in which only 1 phase of a ceasefire actually took place. The second phase, which was due to take place then, was to see full negotiations between the sides on an end to the war, and that would then move to looking to how Gaza could be rebuilt. This latest proposal seems to be returning to that in a way, saying that negotiations will begin pretty much at once, as soon as the ceasefire is in place, on moving towards what Hamas is demanding, which is an end to the war and a troop withdrawal. Up until now, the Israeli government, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, haven't been willing to accept that. But what we're hearing this evening from Israeli media outlets is that an Israeli official, unnamed, but it would seem from the highest authority, has said that a negotiating team from Israel will be sent to Qatar, which is one of the key mediators with Egypt and the US, to hold what are called proximity talks with Hamas either tonight or tomorrow. And that also Israeli officials being quoted as saying there is something to work with now. So there's definitely, again, a momentum that's building. It's whether President Trump and the two sides are able to go beyond those obstacles that have got in the way before and have led, despite promise, despite moments when hopes were raised again, that there was just a dead end and any move towards a deal foundered. I think a sort of timescale is in place because President Trump is hosting the Israeli Prime Minister on Monday. Clearly, the US President would like to be able to announce something substantial at or after that meeting, some kind of real breakthrough. I mean, President Trump has been talking about the possibility of nailing down a ceasefire within this coming week. I think that the signs that we're seeing now do lead to greater hope that that might be possible. It really depends on how much more there is to negotiate at these talks, whether the issues that still remain are so stubborn that it won't be possible in these talks to get past them, or whether both sides have now reached a stage where this potentially could be overcome within just days, possibly even less, of these talks taking place.
Our Middle East regional editor Sebastian Usher in Jerusalem with that update. Here, more than 20 people have been arrested on suspicion of terrorist offences after a protest in support of the banned group Palestine Action in London. A protest took place in Westminster this afternoon after the group failed to block the ban in court last night, less than 2 hours before legislation came into force. The move to ban the group was announced after 2 aircraft were vandalised at a Royal Air Force base in Oxfordshire in June, which the police say caused £7 million worth of damage. Membership of or support for the proscribed group is now a criminal offence, punishable by up to 14 years in prison. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has made his first public appearance since the end of the short-lived war with Israel 11 days ago. State television showed him greeting worshippers at a mosque on Saturday during a ceremony for the religious festival of Ashura. Khamenei's last appearance was in a recorded address during the conflict with Israel. Let's get some of the day's other news now. The authorities in Turkey have arrested 3 more mayors from the main opposition party, the CHP, as part of an investigation into what they say is organised crime. Saturday's arrests come 4 months after the mayor of Istanbul, considered President Erdogan's main political opponent, was jailed over alleged corruption. For the first time in more than a century, people in Paris have been allowed to swim in the River Seine. It follows efforts to reduce water pollution before last year's Olympics. France has spent at least €1.4 billion on the task. Swimmers took to the water at several designated swimming areas along the Seine, one near the Eiffel Tower, another close to Notre Dame Cathedral, and a third in eastern Paris. Meanwhile, in Warsaw, the level of the River Vistula has fallen to a record low of just 19 centimetres and is set to fall further. In Hungary, the Danube is also impacted, affecting shipping, agriculture and wildlife. Now to football, and it's been a disappointing start for the defending champions England at the Women's Euros with a 2-1 defeat at the hands of France in Zurich. No good news either for Wales, who are making their tournament debut with a 3-0 loss to the Netherlands. Well, let's speak to our reporter Emma McCarthy, who's been following all the action from London among the fans. Emma, we knew it was going to be a tough task, but yeah, not the result they were hoping for.
Absolutely not, Laxmi. When I spoke to you just before kickoff, there was a little bit of anxiety, wasn't there? But there was a lot of optimism. I don't think anyone saw it going quite like this. England becoming the first ever Women's Euro reigning champions to lose their opening match, 2-1 to France. Now, for a long time, it was looking like it could have indeed been 2-0, but Keira Walsh's goal in those dying seconds really changed the entire match and turned the atmosphere with fans around a lot. A lot of people near us really thought that England could at least draw or maybe even do it and beat France, but that was not to be. Now, one of those fans who is feeling a little bit down right now is Joanna. Joanna, come in here. Thank you for joining us on BBC News. How are you feeling after that 2-1 loss?
I mean, I'm feeling a bit in between. It's a lackluster because we did really well the first half, like the first 5-6 minutes, but then we kind of got a bit more complacent, I think. We underestimated them a bit. But I say 1 is better than nothing because we could have definitely gone home 2-0 and 2-1. You're starting off on something. We just need that fire in the belly and then we're going to actually get there.
Absolutely. And they've said that this group that England are in, alongside France, the Netherlands and Wales, they've dubbed it as this group of death. Do you think that England has a tough gig ahead against the Netherlands on Wednesday?
Definitely. I mean, from this today's match, Netherlands actually looked really on point. They had the A game on, but at the same time as well, you know, we are the current European champions, so we do have something to offer, and I don't think we shy from hard work. So definitely, the Lionesses will do really well, but it just might be. They need a little bit more kind of motivation from everyone, really, at home, the coach, the staff, and maybe change the lineup. But yeah, I think we're gonna do all right.
I love to hear that optimism.
Yes.
And it is still the first match of the Euros, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
What was the mood like with fans? Do you think people are still really behind the Lionesses? Of course, it was just 3 years ago when they brought it home here at Wembley, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. The fans are right behind the Lionesses. And, we felt for them because some of the decisions, as you know, we're not really appreciated by everyone. But, yeah, I think they've got 100% support from everyone. So, yeah. Definitely. We've still got that memory from Wembley. We still got that, and it's going to happen again.
Well, let's hope so. We'll carry that on. Joanna, thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
So, there you have it. Still early days, but a tough loss for England tonight. They'll certainly be doing a lot of soul searching, but As we said, it was only 3 years ago since they brought it home here, so anything could happen. They are, of course, playing the Netherlands, who beat Wales 3-0 earlier on Saturday. On Wednesday, and France will play Wales on Wednesday as well. And then England will face Wales on Sunday. So much fantastic women's football coming ahead over the next few weeks. Laxmi?
Emma, thank you. And of course, we don't want England to peak too soon, do we? Now, the UK's biggest LGBTQ event, Pride in London, has taken place, with hundreds of thousands of people parading through the centre of the city in colourful costumes. Organisers estimate that more than 30,000 participants from across 500 organisations took part in the march, which passed from Hyde Park Corner to its destination in Whitehall. In Trafalgar Square, there was a free music concert for the crowds, headlined by the US soul singer Chaka Khan. You can see some of those pictures on the BBC News website as well. I'm Laxmi Gopal. Stay with us. Headlines coming up soon.